Hello everybody, my name's James and welcome to the Planet FPL Deadline stream for Gameweek 7 and it's live. Hope you got your transfers in mind just about sorted, but my aim over the next 55 minutes or so is to help as many of you as I can. Before I get into the questions, 2 free transfers used by myself. Trent is gone reluctantly and may not be coming back for me for a while, which is dangerous. I can't believe I've ended up in that position. Danny Ings has gone. 2 free transfers in are Matt Lowton of Burnley. Romelu Lukaku is in and captain. I line up with Sarr in goal. Back 3 of Lowton, Rudiger, Luke Shaw I think will probably play from the news I've got. Mason Greenwood, Diogo Jota, Rafinha, Harvey Barnes, Mo Salah, Mikel Antonio, Romelu Lukaku, Kieran Tierney in reserve if needed, which he may well be, if Luke Shaw doesn't turn up, that's for sure. So, on the screen below my team, which is on the screen, top right hand corner, you will see my top 10 captaincy picks for the game week in preference of order. Romelu Lukaku, I believe, just over Cristiano Ronaldo is probably the best choice for the game week. Don't mind anyone going for Mikel Antonio, and I actually don't mind anyone who wants to punt Rafinha this week, although it's probably not necessary to stick the armband on him. But I don't mind if anyone wants to punt that. The others, generally speaking, I would avoid. Mo Salah you can always fall back to if you don't have any of the other premiums. But I think really it's probably a shootout, same as it was last week between the top 3. For me, it's Lukaku or Ronaldo. To answer one general question, if you've already got this in the chat, please delete it. If you can go Ronaldo to Lukaku for free, I probably would. For a -4, I definitely would not. I wouldn't bother. Selling Ronaldo when he's got a home game for a -4. No, that's not on the agenda. At the very bottom of the screen, you'll see the fixture ticker for the next 5 game weeks for each team. You'll see a sea of greens for Chelsea. Leads of some very good fixtures as well. Also coming on the screen, you'll see my correct score predictions for all 10 games this week. I do fancy Liverpool to win on Sunday. And yes, I am predicting Tottenham to lose at home to Aston Villa. And below me now on the screen, you'll see the benching dilemmas coming onto the screen for you. And I will go through them in order of preference. Jota over Cancelo, Cancelo over Adama Traore, Adama Traore over Dennis, Dennis over Gray, Gray over Gallagher, Gallagher over Marcel, Marcel over Dean, Dean over White, White over Duffy, Duffy over Dyer, Dyer over Elianusi, Elianusi over Pinnock, Pinnock over Manquillo, Manquillo over Brownhill, Brownhill over Williams, Williams over Livramento. And for the keepers, which you'll see on page 5 of the benching dilemmas, Sarr over Ramsdale, Ramsdale over Martinez, Martinez over Sanchez, Sanchez over Raya. And if you're just in doubt this week, just fucking buy a Rafinha. Right, let's get into the cues. Lexus Steelerman says, wildcard next week, should I do TAA and Bamford to Jimenez and Azpilicueta, or Lukaku captain and Brandon Williams currently on Ronaldo captain? I'd go option A there, Lexus. Edwin Guan, who to bench, Jota, Benrahma or Barnes? Sorry if it's on there already. Good luck, James. No, it's not. Definitely wouldn't bench Benrahma. Personally, I'd play Jota over Barnes. Personally, I think Jota will start tomorrow. It's not to say that I don't think Harvey Barnes will. I think all 3 of them will probably start. Just Harvey Barnes has not done anything yet. And Palace are a half decent side now. So I'd probably bench Barnes. Lewis Cole said, hi James, would you do Jota to Jimenez? Would for a hit. Other player just 4.5. Cheers. No. Toenail says, hi James, greater Rafinha -4. Thanks. Yep, get it done. Mohammed says, good morning James, all the best for Game Week 7. Looking forward to the stream. Thanks. You're very welcome. Good luck to you too. Matt Derbyshire says, morning all, just in until deadline before wandering up the road to watch my beloved Toffees get thumped at Old Trafford. Matt's a loyal Everton fan. Wish you luck today, Matt. Gareth Payton says, hi James, my benching dilemma probably isn't covered in the graphics. Conser or Smith Rowe? Conser looks good for a clean sheet and a goal against Spurs, right? I'd play Smith Rowe, my friend. Jeremy Lawless, do you think it's a viable strategy to own both Chilwell and Alonso as part of a back 5 while having a strong first bench option to sub on for whoever doesn't play? No. Too much money. Too much money. We're basically never going to both play. It's too much money. Craig Fleming says, bench 1 from... what are you going to do if suddenly he drops Hudson-Odoi or Christian Pulisic when he's fit at left wing back? I know that's unlikely. It's not a good idea. Craig Fleming says bench 1 from Diaz, Emil Smith-Rowe, Adam Armstrong. Already have Rudiger, Alonso, Cancelo. I would bench Smith-Rowe from that. Pedro Gaming 2, Trent to remain for this week. Free transfer. Next week, wildcard. Do you mean you're keeping Remain? Who's Remain? Remain Sawyers? Who's Remain? Do you mean just keep him? Gavin Welsh says, good morning. Good morning, Gavin. Ivan says, good morning, James. Who would you go for a 1 week punt? Sarah or Ben Rama? All the best in the upcoming game week. Ben Rama, for me, actually, of the two. Lewis Stapleton, how suddenly you became so obsessed with Sean Dyche's defenders? I see one in your team. I guess they play the pressing game now and leave gaps in the midfield. Your thoughts? I mean, I've spoken about this a number of times, Lewis, about their defensive problems. But look, the chance of me ever using Matt Lowton to start again are pretty slim. I've got him at home for Norwich today. And he's going to fall into line as a really good second or third sub for a long time for me, I think. They've got Man City away in 8, Chelsea away in 11. Other than that, I wouldn't be bothered if Lowton played any other game for me. Great benching option. The reason for going Lowton over Taylor, just to clarify that very briefly, if anyone is thinking Burnley defender, Connor Roberts is an issue. But as very correctly pointed out to me by, and Coy's FPL pointed, look, don't forget Connor Roberts, absolutely spot on. Claret FPL, who's also a Burnley fan, also said to me, but remember, Dyche doesn't drop players who are playing well. And Matt Lowton's been very good for Burnley throughout 2021. His attacking statistics are slightly better than Charlie Taylor, and Norwich have a weakness down their left-hand side. That's why I've gone Lowton over Taylor. Gavin Welsh says, good luck for this week, both FPL and Spurs, and to you too, Gavin. Hamish Holmes says, and Diddy is an injury doubt, so switch to Smith-Rowe in Sky. Not optimum captain pick in coming weeks, but options at 7.6 or below are limited. Already have Gallagher. Yes, don't hate that. I haven't got the information on Diddy, but serious doubt is where you're at. So I don't mind if you want to make that move, particularly if it covers you the 2 Arsenal single game day captaincies in Sky. Ritwick says, double Chelsea or City defence on a wild card. Would be Chelsea for me. And to answer the follow-up question, Rudiger and Azpilicueta is where I would go. Rob Howard, hi James, COTC was class. Appreciate that. So will Ricky and Lee. You've made me doubt getting Mount Zaha after you put it to Arsenal to get top 6. Would you do Jota to Saka, Mount or Zaha for free? If I was buying one of them for free this week, I'd probably go Saka. I think Mount is the best choice, but I wouldn't want to be... I'm going to work on the assumption you probably want to go Lukaku as well, and you've already got one Chelsea defence. What I don't like about Mount is it blocks the double Chelsea defence. So I'm going to say Saka, although I think Mount will probably score highest over the next 5 game weeks from those 3 players. Callum Costello says, hello mate, bit of a dull one. Who would you start this week between Brownhill at home to Norwich or Adam Armstrong at Chelsea? You already know the answer to that, Callum. I'm not even going to answer it. Laxman says, just look at where Brownhill was on the benching dilemma screens. Laxman says, Ronaldo to Harry, captain. Jesus. If Cristiano's rested as said by Ollie last night. You think Ronaldo's getting rested because he's got to play a friendly against Qatar and a qualifier against Luxembourg? By the way, to clarify one thing from my stream yesterday, Diogo Jota is not playing on the Wednesday before game week 8. Portugal's fixture is on the Tuesday. And that's all Portugal have got. A friendly against Qatar and a qualifier against Luxembourg. I mean, wow, the exertions of that might be a bit over the top. Lan Lipavic said, Saar, Salah, Rafinha, Adama Gray, pick 4. No interest in Adama Traore as an asset. Genuinely. But if you're asking me to play today, you leave Gray out of that. X50 said, hey James, your Ronaldo Lukaku score prediction. Cheers and have a good one. 1 goal each. It'd probably be 6 or 7 pointers for the 2 of them. I don't think either will go particularly big today. Ripwax says JWP, and that's why I don't mind a Rafinha punt, because I think the capability is there to go off. But I mean, if you've got Ronaldo or Lukaku, just stick the armband on one of them is generally the advice, I think. Rickback says JWP, Sarr and Semedo on a wild card. Nice or crazy? I wouldn't go Ward-Prowse at the moment. Like, he'll play, but he's been ill all week, and he's also carrying a knee injury, which he actually carried into the season. So I wouldn't go Ward-Prowse at the moment. It's an ongoing problem that at some point they're possibly going to have to fix. So I wouldn't go Ward-Prowse at the moment. Sarr, I wouldn't go either, personally. following this week. Liverpool, Everton, Southampton, Arsenal, Man United, Leicester, Chelsea, Man City. No, you're right. You're all right. All right, Norwich might catch Watford by the end of that, by game week time game week 16 comes around. We're now wildcard in game week 16, and I'm going to talk about that at 11 o'clock. I'll probably have Ismail Assar. Freak Creel says, hey James, thoughts on Zaha and wildcard, worth the extra over Gallagher now he's on pens. He was always on pens. You got Leicester, Arsenal, Man City, 3 of the next 4. Nah, you're okay, mate. Wouldn't be of interest to me. I'd rather have Gallagher. Not that Zaha won't outscore Gallagher probably, but just don't think it's worth paying the extra. Warnock said, is Jota a definite sell, and if so, who are the best replacements? Have a look at my team. The answer's no. Dana J says, hello James, Lukaku, Tarkowski, Brownhill, oh God, in for Tony, TAA, Jota from -4, as I want to keep Ronaldo in for this week. Otherwise can do Ron, TAA to Rom, Rudiger. I'm going to wildcard next week. No. Scrap all that and just captain Ronaldo. You don't need to force in Lukaku for a -4 if you're not going to captain him. Scrap all that, mate. Vivek Gore says, should I take out TA or Shaw for Rudiger? Already have Diaz, Semedo. Also, is it worth taking hit to remove Jota for Saka? Already have Rafinha, thanks. Should I take out TA or Shaw for Rudiger? It's not a straightforward question. What do you want to do next week? I made a decision that I'm happy to go without Trent for a little while, if necessary. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not happy, but it's something I'm okay with doing. I'd never thought I'd be in a position where he was going to get sold, but it's the right solution for me this week without ended up taking -8s and stuff. So he's gone. Your situation may be different. My opinion also was I did not want to lose Luke Shaw for this game today. That was my opinion. And obviously if he doesn't play, shit fucking happens. But if you're wondering, could I have gone Shaw to Lowton and Ings to Lukaku? No, you couldn't. It would have been then taking hits. So it was a straightforward answer for me. I don't know if it's straightforward for you. If you're just doing the 1 free transfer and you definitely want Trent next week and you've got the cover on the bench, there's a case to say Shaw to Rudiger. There's also a case to say roll the transfer if you've got the bench coverage, which is dangerous. Obviously as well, if you go TAA to Rudiger, 1 free transfer, you're leaving the money. I'm going to presume you can probably, no, that's not definite, go Shaw back to Trent next week. It's another option, but your squad needs to be good for that. Gary Speaks says, do you think there will be a higher variance in FPL points this week because not all teams have both Lukaku and Ronaldo together? Just think and answer. Not really. Ripwick Vyas said, I just think they'll score similar, so not really. Ripwick Vyas, Ryan Gators 4.5 rotating goalkeepers, or is Ramsdale better for one of them? Yeah, I would definitely want Ramsdale in. And just having a little skim through, your pair, if you want to go with 2, you're probably better off pairing with Gator, just having a look at Arsenal's difficult 12 and 14. I think, oh, imagine that's close. I think I'd go Gator as the other. But to be very honest with you, I'd just go Ramsdale on a 4.0 personally. Just go with Ben Foster at the moment. That's how I would feel about it. I don't think it's a necessity to have the rotating. How often are you going to rotate it? If it's Raya and Gator, my question to you would be, who are you picking next week when Raya's got Chelsea at home and Gator's got Arsenal away? How good is that as a rotation? Straight away, it's not. Lombard says Trent and Bissouma, Charlie Taylor and Phil. I don't know if Phil is. Phil Bardsley? No. Shifo says, forced to wildcard because I had Region as my only playing defender. Fucking hell. That's not even a playing defender. Everything is settled except for Raya or Ramsdale. I think Raya's a higher ceiling than Gallagher or Harrison. I have Rafinha as well. I'd go Gallagher over Harrison, although if I knew Harrison was going to play, I'd definitely say Harrison, actually. Because Leeds next 4 are absolute fire, and I don't think you want to miss this one and go to it next week, so it would be now. You could make a case to say, go Harrison now, and if it's not worked, you can always move to Gallagher and perhaps in game week 9 or so. You need a bit of bench coverage for that, just to be sure. As I've already covered, Ramsdale over Raya for me. Vivek Gore, is Vardy a good differential captain this week? No. In my opinion. Look, he's doing really well, right? He's joint top goal scorer. No one's saying he's a bad pick. Those who own him will be very, very pleased at the moment. Congratulations. Would I go and buy him? I wouldn't have considered it for a second. He is on the captaincy matrix. I don't hate it. Is he the best option this week? Are you sitting there with no Ronaldo or Lukaku? I mean, I would captain Antonio over Vardy. I'd captain Rafinha over Vardy. I'd actually captain Mo Salah over Vardy. Oliver Jacobs says, despite your advice on Rudiger, I bought in Chilwell, Rafinha captain too. Good luck, Oliver. AB says, have 2 free transfers. Wildcard in next week. Currently have Bamford, Ayling, Trent, Shaw and Soufal flagged. Getting rid of Trent and Bamford for probably Wood and Chelsea defenders, so hopefully have 11. Yes, and I think that's the right decision. Adam Tessiman says, morning James, already gone with Rudiger and Silva, 2 free transfers. Would you consider Jota to Havertz for a -4? No. Chris Woods, morning mate. Thoughts on Mount now that he's supposedly fit again? Kind of covered, good option, but blocks you double Chelsea defence, which I wouldn't personally want to do. AB says, or Soufal play. And now I've answered your question, mate. Sandesh Dackle says, hey James, good luck. Williams to sub 4.8 million defender for -4. Worth it? Then who? To be honest, yeah, I'd just play fucking Williams this week. What's the worst that's going to happen away to Burnley? 1 pointer. It's the worst that's going to happen. You guaranteed any 4.8 minus defender is going to get you the clean sheet to get you up the additional point net. No, just play Williams, mate. They could keep a clean sheet at Burnley. I doubt it, but they could. Especially if they go to back 3, they might even frustrate Burnley. Paul Spencer says, hi James. Oh, long question. I have Trent, Ayling, Williams, Livramento, Rudiger. Should I do TAA to Asby for a -4? Don't have what have you got? Rudiger, Livramento, Williams, Ayling. You got Williams, Livramento, Rudiger as your team this week. I'm going to say yes, as long as you're happy to potentially go without Trent for a while. I'm actually going to say yes. We'll reverse the transfer next game week if Trent fit, or if not, go Ayling to Diaz and get TA back 12. That's the alternative option. James Nelson trying to resist wildcard, or Cancelo, mate. James Nelson trying to resist wildcard next week and hold until 12. With that in mind, do I do Rafinha in for Sarr this week, or just hold one transfer and wait until next week? I don't think you want to get rid of Sarr this week. Can you do someone else for Rafinha this week and do Sarr to someone else next week? But if it's a case of you asking that's your only option, I can say yeah, pull it. Do it. Rishi Sego says, hi James, should I play Dyer for TAA or transfer TAA out to Rudiger for a -4 on wildcard in Gameweek 8? I'd probably just play Dyer, actually. Again, but Dyer's probably 2-pointer. Rudiger is probably 6-pointer. You're level, and you're holding back. I mean, the only thing with that is obviously longer term, you're better off having Rudiger in your team than Dyer. So obviously you shouldn't have Eric Dyer in there, but there you go. It is what it is. So obviously if you're happy to judge it over a longer term period, i.e. not short term, mind you said your wild card in Gameweek 8. Nah, I'm going to say no, mate. Andre Traore, what you had for breakfast, bro? Coffee? I have had a coffee. I haven't ate anything yet because I've been too fucking busy to tell you the truth. Albus89, hi James, hope you're doing well. Would you take -4 to do Trent to Azpilicueta as a 1-week punt? No, if you wildcard next week, or just play one of Ben White, Veltman. I got Sanchez goalkeeper, which one out of the two? You got good options there. I would have slight favouritism of White over Veltman. I've got White directly above Duffy on the bench in dilemmas. I fancy Arsenal to win today. I think probably both teams score, but I fancy Arsenal to win. So slight favouritism in terms of possibility of clean sheet for White. Definitely over Veltman. I guess White Duffy's very close, in my opinion. And I could understand why if anybody else prefers Duffy, it's fine. Albus89, hi James, hope you're doing well. Would you take minus? That's what I've just done. James Nelson, thanks as always, James. Have a great game week. You too, James. Biffin says, morning, James. Would you consider Trent and Decore? Gonna have to start banning Trent questions, I think. Morning, James. Would you consider Trent and Decore to Rafinha and Aspi for a -4, an exact budget, not having wildcard? Got Rudiger already. Thanks and good luck for the game week. Yes, thumbs up from me on that one. KF16, hi James. Hope you're well. I am. Hope you are too. Bellis says, thoughts on Jota v any Man City midfielder? Jota, Cape. I mean, I wouldn't go and buy Diogo Jota at this stage, but keep versus the Man City midfielders at the moment. You can reassess that next week. Sam Holden said, good morning, James. Locked in the Harrison punt. I wish you well. Now sit and hope Tuchel doesn't mess up everyone's game week. Good luck, everyone. Well, he could well do that. Christian Pafour, hey, I live near. I was wondering if you could join me in the gym. FPL talk and exercise, please. That's fucking weird, mate. Do I look like I go down the fucking gym, mate? That's your first problem. Second, nobody's ever asked me to a gym. That's kind of creepy, I think. Unless you know that the person exercising, you already own it. I mean, if you know the person, you say, hey, do you want to meet in the gym at the weekend? Yeah, cool, bro. I'd see you at the gym at the weekend. Think of it for me. You just invite me to the gym. I don't know you, mate. Liam H says, keep Trent and play Sissoko. I'm also concerned that you live near now. Liam H says, I'm only messing, Christian. I wish you well. Liam H says, keep Trent and play Sissoko or transfer Trent out. Keep Trent and play Sissoko or transfer Trent out. Who for? Trent, Chelsea Man City player. The thing is, you do that, you can go back. Depends on the rest of your makeup of your squad. Conal Irvine says, hi James, thoughts on a Ferran Torres to Saka move for free? Plan next week would be Ronaldo, Greenwood and Ayling to Adam Armstrong, De Bruyne and Cancelo. Well, Conal, you sound like you've got a forward-thinking plan there, so I'm okay with it, and I'm not going to argue against it. I think Torres to Saka for free, if that opens up that door, is absolutely fine. I would be surprised if Torres started tomorrow. David Tyner said, hi James, who would you start, Gray or Semedo? It's a good question. I think Semedo this week, just. I think that's close. I like that question. It's a good one. Wishing I'd put a Wolves defender on a benching dilemma now, but I was kind of working on the assumption probably most people just pick them. Actually, I fancy Newcastle to score. That's the point. But then I don't fancy Everton to score. So I'd say Semedo. Sure, it's close. Good question, David. Luke Hopkinson. Hi, James. Best Ayling replacement. Semedo, Christensen or Lowton. Cheers, mate. It's probably Christensen from that. You got to know the potential suffering that comes with it. What's the rest of your squad look like? If you want something nailed and locked on, I've gone Lowton. It's certainly locked on in the very short term until basically plays badly. And then Connor Roberts might get in. It's possible, of course, that Connor Roberts could get in the team ahead of Lowton and play right midfield. He obviously played as a wing-back for Swansea in the Championship last year. Hola Stamos, hello my friends. Says hello James, wildcarded on end due to terrible defence situation and fear of Rafinha and Lukaku. Hope I won't regret after so much tinkering this week. Good luck and thanks for the fun week of podcasts. I appreciate that, my friend. Good luck to you too. Eric says, to chill or to chill well? That is the question. Just chill. Pavan says, hey James, still debating between me, Tarkovsky, Chilwell for TAA. Also need to sell one of Jota, Greenwood. Do you need to sell them? Do you need to sell them? Like, I'm aware that there's a possibility that Mason Greenwood might get benched today. There's definitely a possibility that Diogo Jota gets benched today. But I'm prepared, potentially, if I get some news, to leave Greenwood on the bench and just play Kieran Tierney this week. I'm not bothered about that. It's all right. I mean, there's every chance Greenwood could come off the bench and do some damage anyway. But I think, knowing that the player's not going to play, I would probably bench him. You do not need to sell them. Why do you need to sell them? This is the thing, right? What if we're wrong about Jota? What if he is going to start every week for Liverpool? What if he's now first choice? Now, I don't think he is. But what if he is? What if Klopp is generally thinking of going 4-2-3-1 and playing all four of them? Do we want to lose Diogo Jota at that stage? We haven't got the information yet. I think it would be a big ask for Firmino to come back into the team tomorrow and start, having not started for a month or so when they're playing Manchester City. But I realise he's probably thinking, I need to get Firmino around Rodri. I get that. In terms of your first debate, Chilwell's a no for me. If you get him and he plays, well done. Same for Alonso owners. I've not got the interest in Chelsea wing-backs, personally. I look at the others. I think Liverpool, I want to go with the wide defenders. Man City, preference, Cancelo. Then the central defenders. Chelsea, I just think, I can't be arsed with it. It's too much hassle. Like I said, he could even play like a Pulisic or a Hudson-Odoi at wing-back at some point. I can't bother with it. It's too much for pain in the arse. So I'm going to ignore all the players you mentioned. Just say go Matt Lowton, mate. Alex Allegretta says, best of luck, James. Benching Jota playing Brownhill. I'm not in agreement with that, Alex. I'm not in agreement with that at all, I'm afraid. But I do wish you luck, mate. Rob Pick says, hi, mate. Still not made any moves. Waiting on a United Leaks question. Do you think there's any midfielder in the game worth -4 to remove Jota? Yes. Yeah, Rafinha. I think Rafinha's the biggest get of the game week. Watford, Southampton, Wolves, Norwich. Get it done if you haven't got Rob. Craig Davis, can you fill me in? Best midfielder under 6.1 this week. Best midfielder under 6.1 this week. Good question. What price is Dwight McNeil, to throw a name out there? But if he starts, Jack Harrison all day long. If he starts, I don't know if he will, but if he starts, definitely be Jack Harrison. Andrew Jarvis says, good luck for the game week, James, and to you, Andrew. Nice to see you with a spanner there, mate. We got that sorted in the end eventually. I'm just going to have a little check on my DMs to see if there's any potential news. No, Rob Pick, I know you're in the chat. Eyes on for me, my friend, if you've got anything. Tiny King said, hi, James. Hope you've had a good week. Pulled the wild card earlier this week because couldn't field a playing 11. Struggling with the last couple of midfielder spots. Who is a must in your opinion? No one's ever a fucking must, Tiny. Never. But there's no way I'd be wildcarding this week without Rafinha. It'd be a priority for me over all the Chelsea players, I think. The Warrior from Within. Transfer James out for Rudiger or keep on bench for Brandon Williams. I have Alonso. You get Rudiger in, mate. KF16. Guys, I have to start Livramento or Gilmore this week. Already taking a -4. Don't ask. I'll take a -8 to move Bamford on for a starter or just start one of Livramento or Gilmore. Look, if the move you're going to make is longer term is better. So if you're going Bamford to Antonio and you're thinking about it longer term, for example, then don't forget what's gone. Just judge it as -4. Is that worth it? I'm going to say yes. But only if you like the option you're getting in. If you've got any doubt, don't do it. Garlic25 said, morning, James. I have one free transfer left. Would you take out Jota or Shaw for a player of your suggestion? Ronaldo to Lukaku. Thanks. Already got Rudiger for TAA. You sound like you're not in a bad spot. You could roll, mate. I've seen one or two people remarkably in a position to able to roll a transfer this week, and I don't mind that. Immortal Technique. Hi, James. Would you start a league for hack teams with Andy? Good luck. I've messaged a couple of people that I'm aware have been hacked and suggested the idea of creating a hack league. Would give it some support or stuff, but I didn't get the vibes that it was something that was particularly of interest to these people, so it's up to them. But the offer has been put out there, to be honest, and that's in DMs. I don't need to fucking plaster that all over Twitter. Bivek says, Jimenez or Tony for Bamford. Can we trust Jimenez? You can trust him. He's a Mexican. He wears a headband. All these things are true. To be honest with you, I think I'd just go Tony. You go Jimenez, you're probably there for a long time. But, I mean, for this week, Jimenez is definitely a better shot. It depends. So if you're really happy with all the rest of your squad, I would buy Jimenez. If you're not, I'd go, do you know what? I want Tony longer term. I definitely want Tony ready for game week 9, 10. I'll just go Tony. So, depends on your squad, mate. Muller Mane, hi James, would you do Trent, Gundogan and Bamford to Rudiger, Smith Rowe and Lukaku or Lowton? Oh, okay. Or Lowton, Rafinha and Lukaku. Lowton, Rafinha, Lukaku. That looks blinding for a -4. I mean, you're selling 3 players that aren't going to play as well. You're ahead of the -4 before you even start, mate. That's a definite pull the trigger and get it done. Alexander says, have Alonso and Jota, worth going Trent to Azpilicueta for -4 to have a bench. Cheers, James. No, depends what that bench is. And obviously, if you're without it, who's playing this week? If you're happy to get Azpilicueta in longer term for Trent, pull the trigger. Go for it. It's repetitive, this. Nigel Sam said, hi, James. Would you do -4 for... Okay, guys. Trent, here's where we're at. You need to make the decision for yourselves. What are you doing next week if Trent Alexander-Arnold is available? How do you feel about that? Okay. If you're going to take a -4 for a Rudiger, Azpilicueta, someone else, okay, you want to be judging that on a little bit more of a longer term. Because the reality is, the Chelsea player you get in today is probably going to get you a 6-pointer. Brilliant. You're 2 points up. Magnificent. But you're now without Trent. So decide what you want to do longer term. I think for those who are in a trouble with bench problems, who can move Trent for a free transfer, do it. The -4, you all need to make your own decision based on your squads for what is the best long-term solution. Any more questions with Trent, I'm going to read the word Trent or Alexander-Arnold, and I'm just going to go to the next question. So if you've got one in there, feel free to mute it. If someone's in and joins late and says, oh, what about Trent? Tell them. Minute 29 or so in the video. Off you go. Nigel Sam. Hi, James. Would you do a -4 for Trent? Skipping it. Moshi says, play Diaz or White. Don't leave out Ruben Diaz, irrespective of fixture, mate. I know it's a tough game. Just play him. Play the Man City players, mate. Ayush says, Max Kilman an option over Marcel. I think Kilman's probably a lock in that team at the moment, to be fair. I would have thought if Willy Bolly did come back into the team, which I don't think will happen this week, I would have thought it's Roman Saiz that would miss out. The danger to Kilman is probably if they change the system. But there isn't the site. There was 2 weeks ago, after they lost at Brentford, there was a thought, he might change now, but he didn't. And obviously they kept the clean sheet at Southampton, so it definitely doesn't change now. I think, yeah, Kilman's reasonable. It's okay. Jonathan says, hi James, is it worth a -4 to get Torres out to Rafinha for a weak punt, even though I'm wildcarding next week? Cheers, mate. Yeah, this is one I'm happier to do because the ceiling is up there. Your worst case here probably is you're 2 down, but you are punting a really good asset. So I really think Rafinha could get a double point haul this week. I really think to be honest, the reason the armband's not on him is because he's just not worth the risk of going against the premium, in my opinion, on this particular week. But I don't mind it. Yeah, I'd get him in. And are you saying you wildcarding next week as well? Okay, fine. So you don't judge it longer term. But yeah, I'd go for it. Yeah, fuck it. I'd go for it. Levy Sachs says, should I play Shaw or Semedo? Just play Shaw, mate. Keith does gaming. Hey, James, good luck this week. You too. Birth Media, Gallagher or Pookie for the start. You played a forward, mate. Thomas Delmont, Alonso or Aspi on wildcard. Azpilicueta for me. Ayush says, Max Kilman an option. Ayush, do yourself a favour. Let's not have repeat questions, mate. I'll give you a pass this time. Jamie Faint, help. No wildcard. Who would you replace Bamford with? Jimenez, Armstrong or Tony? Kind of covered this a little while ago, Jamie, for someone else on Jimenez versus Tony, so I think that's there. Armstrong I wouldn't go to yet, so it would be between the other two. Gibson Lazaru says, hey James, should I do Torres and Jota to Saka and Rafinha for a -4, or do I give Jota another game? I don't mind this one, because it's got Rafinha in it, and I think you'll be happier with the squad on the other side a little bit more as well, knowing that Saka's then walking into a couple of home games. Rafinha's still got a good few fixtures. The only thing is, next week, Torres has got Burnley at home, Jota's got Watford away. And obviously, if they both play, you'd want them both. But I think the fact that I don't expect Torres to play at Anfield gives it the edge to say, yeah, go for it. Christian prefers says, Marcus Alonso price rise by 0.2 this week. Do you think you missed on 0.1 gain on it by not wildcarding? If that's the reason why I should have wildcarded, I'd have an extra 0.1. I've completely scrapped team value this year. I don't give a shit about it. I just don't. But my squad value is awful. I don't care. I think my FPL season is having a much better season because of it. If I'd have been on wildcard this last week, I'd have definitely been getting Marcus Alonso in, and I'd have taken that 0.1 and I'm now fucking sold him for someone else. Tom Hall says, Holberg aside, Højbjerg is what you'd mean. Is there any other players you think you could have done an equally as good job as? Just very briefly, Tom. Højbjerg played the last half hour on Thursday and he played it like a man possessed. He wanted to go round and smash into every tackle. He was brilliant when he came on the other night. Why the fuck he didn't play like that at Arsenal? He played like he didn't care at Arsenal. And that's why I said that on the Patreon podcast. If he's going to play like that, waste of time, get him off the pitch. I had no idea what happened to him. Because he, as much as I've been critical of Højbjerg, the one thing you never question is his desire. His desire at Arsenal was disgraceful. That's why I said that, mate. But he looks like he's had a rocket. It was good when he came on Thursday night. He would definitely play for me tomorrow. FPL Ebro says, hey James, good luck this game week. You think Chilwell worth a punt at wildcard with Rudiger? No, been through this. Ludwig says, morning James is taking a -4 to bring in Christensen for Omabami Delhi. Worth it, as I would have to start him and he is no certainty to play. I think, Ludwig, you've already answered the question. My predicted team this week has Christensen in it, but it very easily might not be. I think we know that, right? Like, I think Hudson-Odoi plays wing-back for Chelsea today on the right. So, Rudiger I expect to play, Azpilicueta I expect to play, then it's Christensen or Silva. And when I put it to you like that, you ask yourself, is it worth a -4? Nah. I mean, he could even play Trevor Chalobah today. Nah. Bart Spillers, sell Shaw or Dean for Rudiger would be -4. Hey, get rid of Luca Dean. Get that finished with, mate. FPL Stat Boy, hi, I'm 10. Been watching for 2 years. Oh, God, I've got to stop swearing. Would you take a -4? Because you're young, I'm going to cover your Trent question. Would you take a -4 for Trent to Alonso so I can bench Tottenham defender and Shaw for 1 week? Thanks. No, I wouldn't, Stat Boy. Apologies for my swearing. EP, what's the biggest upgrade you... to be fair, I do mark the videos as not made for kids. EP says, what's the biggest upgrade you can remember making in one transfer? I've just gone Balogun to Lukaku. There's definitely one around about Gameweek 28-29 last year. Because for about 3 weeks I had about 7 million sitting in the bank. Remember when like Gundogan was going mental and there was a few others around that price range. It was like, I can't sell these players. I don't know where to spend the money. So there was something last year which I think a lot of people were in that situation last year. Audio, sell James or Trent. You have no one on bench. I mean, I'd sell James in that case. Verif, bench Gray or Jota. Gray. It's on the benching dilemmas, my friend. Meninda, Sky question, please. What would you do if you had Traore 0 in the bank? I would consider selling him tomorrow for a few options. Like Yuri Tielemans, maybe a get. Said Ben Rama. There's a few options tomorrow, I think, for you, mate. Obviously, if you've got 4 in midfield, consider defensive players. Jassim Jazz, is it more difficult to predict Chelsea backline and City backline? It is at the moment because of Zinchenko's injury. So, yeah, at this moment in time, I mean, to be honest, let's be honest, Man City tomorrow, it's Walker, Diaz, Laporte and Cancelo, isn't it? And actually, we'd all be very surprised if it's anything different. But that won't last forever. Himanshu says, Bamford, Greenwood, Williams out, Tony, Rafinha, Rudiger in from -4. Allows to go Cancelo from Dean, game week 8. Okay, it doesn't... Can I be honest with you? So you want to go Cancelo for Dean next week? Do you know what I honestly do? And it might sound ridiculous. I'd just sell Dean now. And I tell you why I'd sell Dean rather than Williams. Is it gives you a bit of money breathing space. If the player's going next week anyway, what are you expecting at Old Trafford today? Leave the money there, and obviously if shit goes wrong and there's other injuries, you've got more flexibility to be able to change your mind and do something different. So honestly, I think it's fine, but actually I would sell Dean rather than Brandon Williams. And if you have to play Williams at Burnley today, well, fuck it, it's not the worst thing, right? Both Dean and Williams are probably both like 1-pointers or something. Zaris says, good morning, James. Why no one talks about Vardy? Greetings from Greece, my friend. I have. Some people do ask about him. It's the money. It's the value. If James Vardy was 9 million, we'd all be talking about him. But I just don't think it's worth it. It's 1.2 more for Lukaku or something. Gordon Ramsay. Hello, mate. Hi, James. Says, which two would you start? White, Pereira, Shaw? I mean, I would always go Shaw, Pereira with that. Almost irrespective of fixture, unless Arsenal had a very routine home game. That's what I'd go with. Pereira, you need to consider moving on. It's becoming a pain in the arse. I'm glad I got rid when I did, actually. Paul Dixon says, Havertz to Rafinha. Is this worth doing for -4? No, I'm not getting rid of Havertz. You've got to the Chelsea fixtures. Now you want to get rid of Havertz. No. Dennis to Wood for 1 week punters looking to wildcard week 8. Wouldn't do the minus for either of them. Even like Havertz to Rafinha is a no, mate. No, I'd expect Havertz to start today. Ayush says, Max Kilman an option. All right, that's the end of you, mate. Sorry, mate. Too many times. Can't be bothered with it. If you're that bothered about it, why you can't get your question in, DM me and I'll explain. Brian Lloyd, morning, James. Planning to wildcard next week due to having players like Aylin, Trent, Trincao, Torres, Cucho. Would you advise a -4 this week for Azpilicueta and Jimenez for Trent and Cucho? Yes. Fred Q01 on wildcard and have 14.2 for 2 midfielders. Who would you go for? Already have Rafinha and don't pick Arsenal players. To be honest, the first name in my head as I was reading it was Bukayo Saka. 14.2 for 2 midfielders. You won't go for an Arsenal player. Okay, Gallagher's what, 5'8" or something, is he? What does that leave you with? 8.4? That's plenty spare, isn't it? See, the likes of Jota, Greenwood are in a no-buy zone this week. Same applies to Everton players. I personally wouldn't want to go to Chelsea players because I wouldn't want to block the double up. The answer is the Arsenal players, like legitimately. Legitimately, that's probably the best answer. Or, what price is Sonny now? I feel like I want to check that. Yeah, I'm about to possibly recommend Heung-min Son to someone. What price is Heung-min Son? Let's have a quick look. Midfielders. I can't remember. This is important because it's relevant to the question. Sonny. Where is he? He's 10. Oh, shit, it doesn't work. Sorry, mate. How's Sonny still 10? Why has he not dropped more? No, the answer is the Arsenal players, mate. Or you punt someone like McNeil, Zaha. These are not good options to go to this week. So I think your best bet is Gallagher. I think it's a long term, and then go someone else for a 1 week punt. Ben Rama's obviously optional. You could punt someone like Traore this week. Dwight McNeil, Harvey Barnes, Jack Harrison. You can punt these guys. I think if it was me, I'd go Harrison and Gallagher right now and then reassess. Generally, I think that's where I'd be at. Avis says, hi James, is obviously Ismail Assar as well if it's the 1 week. Avis says, hi James, is Wood captain a good choice? Have Ronaldo and Antonio at 20k? Is it a punt too early for the season? Look, you're 20k. First thing, you're a better FPL manager than me, so you don't need to ask my opinion. But you really like that. Burnley captain. Ronaldo and Antonio both at home. You really like Chris Wood. You really think Chris Wood's going to get you that kind of 12, 13 pointer or so. You can make your own choice, my friend. I think you know where I'm at. Nathaniel Chapman, Pessimistic Potato, greetings. An official FPL article talked up the idea that Everton's midfield could dominate United's today. Do you see that happening? If so, would you play Allen over Livramento? I mean, that doesn't make any difference at all from an FPL perspective, my friend. Do I see Everton's midfield dominating Manchester United? No. I think they'll sit in very deep. I think they'll look to counter with breakaway players like Doucouré, Townsend and Gray. I think they're going to go there and try and make it difficult for Manchester United. Dominate? Be very surprised. What do you think when you read dominate? Because I read the word dominate and I think dominate means dominating possession, dominating territory. Don't see either of those things happening, personally. CCL, hi James, thoughts on Greenwood, Ben Rama to Rafinha from -4? I probably wouldn't sell either of them for the -4 this week unless we've got some news on a potential Manchester United team, which I'm trying to see if I've got anything for you. It doesn't appear that way at the moment. There appears to be no information on a potential leaked Manchester United team. Sheila J. Raj says, but I am going to keep an eye on that. Obviously, guys, if you haven't got your question in yet, you've got no chance of me getting you covered, but I wish you luck for the game week. You are around about 11 minutes to deadline, guys. Make sure you're getting locked in at this stage. CCL, hi, James. Thoughts on that's what I've done. Sheila says, save free transfer or Shaw to Christensen or Ronaldo to Lukaku. Wildcard used in game week 5. If you've got the coverage for Luke Shaw on the bench, any playing player, I would roll it, mate. But I think, actually, that's a lie. I would go Ronaldo to Lukaku for free because it would have been part of my plan. But I don't mind you rolling. Shaw to Christensen would be a no for me. Rooney says, took a -8 hit now. I got, great, well done, you taking a hit. Jordan Harrison, hi James, I've landed with Pookie in my team last few weeks. Is it worth -4 to shift him out to Jimenez? Most likely wildcard in next week. Nah, just let it go, mate. Keep Pookie this week. Jay Prian says St. Maximin or Jimenez. Jimenez for me, personally. Just because if you get stuck, it's a better longer term pick, I think. St. Maximin will get injured at some point, so unfortunately, it just happens. Ayub says Brandon Williams and Jota to Rudiger and Saka for a hit. Don't hate that. That's better longer term, I think, for you. And TJ, hi James. I got TAA. Good. I'm skipping the question. Ayub Seller says thanks. Zaris says, would you prefer Diaz and Laporte or Cancelo and Laporte? Cancelo. Ahmed Box, thoughts on Alonso versus Azpilicueta? I'm torn. I'm not Azpilicueta. Bonjour. Start Jota or Sissoko. Bearing in mind Firmino was still Jota. Still Jota, mate. I think if you told me Jota was going to get 5 minutes, I'd still pick him over Sissoko. Zayed Khan says Sarr or Rafinha. Who to captain? Rafinha. There you go. FPL Kaka. Hi, James. Do you think Cancelo is fairly nailed now with Mendy out of the picture? No, Zinchenko's likely to be back from fitness in game week 8, but I still think he's probably worth the punt. Well, it's not a punt, that's the wrong term. Worth buying. Jazz on James, should I keep Ferran Torres? No. Adam Hater, hi James, on wildcard with 2 Chelsea defence, Cancelo and Semedo. Would you drop Semedo to a Burnley defender to be able to get back to Trent in one move? You possibly, but can you do that next week? Can you do it next week? Because you might decide that if you wait the extra week, you might decide that you want to go for Livramento instead, for example, or someone else. Wait. Jay Prian, can I replace Bamford with St. Maximin or Jimenez? Of course you do, mate. You have your login and your password. You can do what you like. Stefan Marstein says St. Maximin versus Jimenez. Just covered FPL 10. Josh, morning, James. Hope you're well. Best of luck. You too, mate. Giacomo says, hello, mate. Any updates on if Ederson will play after international break? Would love to get him in. Just briefly on that, my understanding is that those who've been double vaxxed will be able to come back and play straight away. I don't have a list of who's double vaxxed and who isn't. Rob Howard says, thanks for answering, James. And I would still fucking buy Rafinha. Rob Howard says, thanks for answering, James. Good luck this week and hope you enjoy the game tomorrow. If you're going, Saka is in. Spurs are at home. Of course I'm going, mate. Water is wet. Joella Ryan, my team. I don't care about your team, mate. Sorry. Good luck. Verti says, I just transferred McNeil from Burnley in for Jota and I'm going to captain McNeil as well. Okay. Owen Walsh, 330 watching, only 40 likes. Only 40 likes on this stream. Press the button, kids. That can't be right. I don't believe it. Mind you, this question's probably quite old. How many likes this stream got? I've got less than 40. Mind you, I'm not up to date. I need to refresh that. Yeah, give the vid a like. Hit the subscribe button. This all helps get the Planet FPL word out there. And if you don't like this, then there's loads of other Deadline streams. Off you go. Miles Thompson says, morning, mate. I've wildcarded and gone for Rudiger and Alonso. Got 0.5 spare, which is swap Alonso to Aspi. Yes. Rene's taking a -8 hit. Okay, you've got some players. Great. Harbour Boy, good evening from New Zealand. Good luck for Game Week 7. Good luck to you too, my friend. Oliver Render, hi, James. Polls may have missed this, but what week would you like Trent back? Game Week 8. But it's probably not going to be possible, unfortunately. So, I mean, it might be that I don't go back. It's possible. It is possible I don't go back. It's a possibility. I think if I got as far as game week 13, I'd probably be quite scared. But it's possible that I might not go back just in terms of structure. I'm not going to force it just because it's Trent, because there are other defensive players like Cancelo who are performing extremely well. Zaris says Gallagher and Livramento or Gray, Decore and Williams. Gallagher, Livramento. Amok says, hey James, would you start Diaz or Grealish? I'd start Grealish. You must have some fucking amazing team, mate. Dylan Ferner Rose, bench one of Sarr, Saka, Ben Rama, Greenwood, mate. From that lot, I'd bench Saka. Cole Valencia, Liverpool have some tough games coming in next 6 game weeks. I've taken out Trent and Shaw for double Chelsea. I'm not sure I will get Trent back for a few weeks. Great. Jay Prian, I have Sanchez now. Should I upgrade him to Sarr for a long time of 1.2 million? Nah, let it go. It's not a priority. Rashid says Aspi and Saka or Tierney and Mount. Aspi. Ashen says 1 week punt. Son, Havertz, Sarr or Zaha. 1 week. And Sonny's affordable. I'd go Sonny. Sonny's any time. As much as I dig out Spurs and stuff, if I had to get one of them players for 1 week, I'd get Heung-min Son. Rooney Bugan says, hear little talk about Kovacic. Why is that? Because it's a shit fucking option, mate. Has bought a decent amount of points and seems pretty nailed in the Chelsea team. Yeah? How nailed is he when Kante comes back from COVID? All 3 of them played against Man City. He's not going to do that again. Kante and Jorginho are Chelsea's strongest too. He's not fucking nailed at all. He's playing very well and doesn't deserve to lose his spot. He's got, 2-3 goals for Chelsea since he joined them? So he's had some returns this season. Big deal. No. That's why no one's talking about him. Chandru says, hi James, hope you're well. Get Smith Rowe for a hit or play Pookie. Play Pookie. Josh Dawes, Grealish or Jota on wildcard. I'd go, if I was on wildcard, probably go Grealish or two. Just Win says, your wildcard team please. I'm not on fucking wildcard. The rest of my team's on my screen. I haven't been thinking about what my wildcard team would be because I'm not on it. 5 minutes to deadline. David says, Ramsdale and White or Sanchez and Duffy. It's got to be the Arsenal pair, to be honest. Duffy won't last forever. Colin says, are you confident Jota will start? I think he'll start. Am I confident? No. Louis Johnson, start Ben White or Cancelo this week. There is no circumstance of leaving Cancelo out. Let's get that. Cancelo's, Trent Alexander-Arnold, those two particularly, it wouldn't matter if they were playing like prime Brazil 1970 away in the Maracanã. You still start them. KF16, if you were moving Bamford out and wanted to go down to around 6.5, would you have a punt on Rodrigo or go for Tony? If I was wildcarding in Game Week 8, I would not mind Rodrigo as a punt. We have a minus 56 competition that me and Suj do, and I've gone Rodrigo this week in that. But longer term, I would just go with Tony. Dorin Danez, hi James, how many points do you think my defence will score? Have Shaw, Sufel, Lowton and no bench. 14. Tiger Sports HD, start and Buemo or Cody. And Buemo, just playing up front, mate. Just stick him in. Josh Dawes, Jota or Grealish and wildcard. I've had that once. If I see it again, Josh, yeah, it's bad news, mate. In my BH99, Jota or Firmino will be starting. I don't know. Ask Jurgen Klopp. Jassim Jazz, Jota Rafinha for -4, worth it. You'll probably feel better about it, Jassim. Do I think it's worth the -4? I mean, I think for it to be worth it, I'd want Jota not to start and Rafinha to go off. So it's close. If you know you definitely want to get rid of Jota, do it. I think if you're looking at it again, you're judging it over the 4 game weeks or so, considering Jota's still got Manchester United away coming up as well. Yeah, I think it pays for you. I'd do it. Myla says, you've got TAA. Next question. Hugo Hansen, Odegaard in for Havertz. No, why do we want to sell Havertz now? Is this because he didn't start last week? I'm pretty sure Havertz will start today. Simon Thompson, hey James, relying on Sufal and Torres to start, no bench. Risk they play or take a hit, planning wildcard game week 8. I'd bin Torres, mate. Wildcard game week 8 as well. I'd bin Torres. If you haven't got Rafinha, I'd bin him. If you need to set a -4 for someone else, I probably wouldn't. The options aren't as great. Jawala says, good morning, James. My team. I'm not going to read your whole team, mate. I'm trying to go through questions under mile an hour. I'm not going to go through your whole team. Josh Dawes, sorry mate, that's the end of you, my friend. Cheers. Rooney says, here little talk about Kovacic. I definitely don't want to see that one again. TJ Newton, hello my friend. Hi James, just had my hernia operation, lying in bed recovering slowly. Your stream is cheering me up. Thanks for being here. DJ, hope you're well mate. Keep wearing our coloured shirts. Love you pal. Get well soon. Anu says, hi mate, should I take a -4 to get in Mount Jimenez, Douglas Luiz for Obafemi, Jota and Torres? I feel like there's got to be a better way around that. Can you keep Jota this week? In fact, no, I just don't like it. But Obafemi, Torres, nah, I don't like it. I mean, if you're going Obafemi to Jimenez, Torres to Douglas Luiz, I don't mind. I wouldn't force it for the -4. Can you do him for free? Jimenez and Douglas Luiz for free. Johnny Khabib says, Gray or Brownhill to start. I think you still go with Damari Gray, mate. Prabish says, Tony or Armstrong, game week 9 onwards, definitely Tony, I think. Avinash says, Alonso or Rudiger. I've only said that on every podcast or every stream for the last month or so. So, guess what? Rudiger. Ashley Barth, hi James, happy Saturday. Hope us Villa boys turn you over Sunday. Already done Trent to Rudiger. Would you take -4 to do Jota to Raf or Saka? I probably wouldn't. Michael Rhodes, hi James, wishing you a good game week. What keeper would you put in out of Ward and Sanchez this week? Ward's not going to play, is he? So what difference it make? It's a riff. Jota to Rafinha and Richarlison to Antonio for -4. That's about the easiest one you'll ever see. Yes. Renee, I can't believe you put that fucking shit question in so many times. Thank you and good night. Ryan says Jota Gray to Saka for -4. Already on a -4. Jota Gray. Oh, where's your fucking question gone? Jota Gray to Saka for -4. Already on -4. No, it's not worth the hit. David says play Livramento. I'll take -4. But who are you getting for that -4? I mean, if it's a Chelsea option, I'd probably say yeah. Otherwise, no. Jeffrey says Lukaku or Chris Wood. Who do you think will perform better? Lukaku. It's a riff. Who should I play? Dyer, Matip, Click, and Gray. Matip and I think you play Click this week, don't you? I would play Matip personally. I would go. I think I'd go Matip and Click. I'll do them in order. Matip, Click, Gray, Dyer. Ben Maxwell, 1 week punt. Son or Wood? Son. Captaincy. Have a look. Chris Wood ain't on it. Richard Poisson, morning James. Ashley Barth is in my league, so don't offer him any tips. Hope Spurs smash Villa Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to remember that, mate. Hakim TVKE, what to do with Trent? Not ask me about him anymore because I've covered it enough. Peter, Live 96, Diaz and Christensen or Laporte and Rudiger. The Rudiger option. Manigalo, do you think Rashford will start? No chance. Alexander says have Alonso and Jota. I think we're deadline gone, aren't we? Thanks, Kieran, for your message. No Man United team leak as far as I'm concerned. I think deadline is gone. Yeah, I'll make it 1 minute past 11, actually. So, I'm a bit low today. Am I a bit low? Is that better? I didn't fucking notice. That's a bit better, isn't it? You probably see me now. You probably really were going, Jesus, James, you are a bit of a midget. Yeah, I am, actually. But yeah, I was a bit low. Sorry about that. Right, I can't bother with no FPL questions. Now, the deadline's gone. You should be locked in. That's it. Sorry to those who I didn't get to your questions and stuff. If anybody has any non-FPL questions they would like to throw into the chat, pop them in. I'm happy to spend 10-15 minutes covering them off. Before I do, the level of research that I went into deciding what to do last night is a lot more than what I normally do. And one of the things, why do people think Ronaldo's not going to start? I'd be staggered if he doesn't start. One of the things that I came to was a conclusion actually in my wildcard. Because I thought, look, I've got a few issues. I need to reassess here. What's the possibility of using it in forthcoming game weeks and not being stubborn about the idea of holding it till roundabouts game week 15. I'm more confident now of when I'm going to use it than when I was yesterday. And it's going to be even later. So I'm now looking at game week 16 as a wild card possibility rather than game week 15. And I'd like to explain why, basically. And for those on Patreon, what I'd like you to do, jump on the Slack channel quickly, and I'd like you to go to tab 7, which is difficulty by month. And the beauty of that is, it's I've already rated the difficulty on fixtures 15 to game week 20. Now, best over that period, Manchester United, then Manchester City, then for me, Arsenal, then actually West Ham, then Crystal Palace, then Liverpool, and then Tottenham. Tottenham slightly influenced by the fact they play Norwich at home in 15. So, here's the thing. There's a few teams that I'm quite interested in who I think will be very good from game week 16 who don't have good game week 15 fixtures. So, for example, West Ham have Chelsea at home. Then afterwards, they've got Burnley, Arsenal, Norwich, Southampton, Watford. It's good. Arsenal, I'm really interested in over the Christmas period, but actually Everton away in 15 is not the easiest fixture. Crystal Palace from game week 16 have a run of Everton at home, Southampton at home, Watford away, Tottenham away, Norwich at home, which is really good, and actually goes on to West Ham at home, Brighton away. They have Manchester United away in 15. Do I want a wild card into that? And the other, Chelsea have also got West Ham away, and Watford also have a good run, and obviously you could look at them as budget enablers. They've got Brentford, Burnley, Palace, Wolves, West Ham, Tottenham, Newcastle, Norwich, and it goes on for Watford actually. But in game week 15 they've got Manchester City. And the other flip is as well, I've really been looking at, I want to buy Harry Kane in 12. Irrespective, it's the end of Lukaku's run. My plan is Lukaku to Kane game week 12. Kane between 12 and 15 has Leeds at home, Burnley away, Brentford at home, and Norwich at home. Do I want a wild card in 15 and get rid of Kane for Norwich at home when actually I could fire with Kane at home to Norwich against Ronaldo in game week 15? But then do I want Harry Kane for Brighton away, Leicester away, Liverpool at home? Probably not. And Kane also has Arsenal and Chelsea in January as well. And I don't suppose anybody's still throwing the Kane in London derby stat at me anymore. So that's why I've now come to the conclusion the switch in game week 16 is massive. And we talk about trying to get advantages in this game. I look at that and go, if I steam into United, City, Arsenal, West Ham, budget of Palace, Watford, how many other people can get there? There's others as well, right? So Leeds have got a brilliant run of fixtures, right? They've got Brentford at home in 15. Leeds run from 16 is Chelsea away, Man City away, Arsenal at home, Liverpool away. The fuck? There's another one. That's Rafinha, been for a little while. Come back to him afterwards. So I've really looked at it and kind of actually, I think because of Manchester United and Manchester City specifically, we were looking at it and going, oh, 15. But actually, to move on some people like Kane and Rafinha and integrate nice switches for some other teams with more mid-price range players like Arsenal, West Ham, Crystal Palace possibly, is 16. And I'm almost certain now that's when I'm going to wildcard actually, is game week 16. Anyway, thought I'd share that with you in terms of my thought process, because every week I'm getting, James, you should wildcard. And listen, of course, if I wildcard, it'll make my team a little bit better, but there is a brilliant switch there that most other people are not going to. There's going to be so much focus on like, oh, United City. There's other good players to get there who come off the back of difficult runs. And we can get all of it by wildcarding then. So just a thought process. Just give game week 16 a second thought is all I would say. Right, let's do some questions. DJ Newton saying, thanks James. Cheers, mate. RACS wants to wish everyone good luck. Immortal Technique, how many sugars do you take in your coffee? Do you know what we've got here at the moment? We've got one of them, it's like it's a Kenko, it's a pre-done bollocks. So I don't know how many sugars are in it. But generally, if I went in the calf, I would go 1. I always used to be 2. Now I just go 1 sugar now, actually. I don't need to be honest, I shouldn't even be having fucking 1 stay at me. Eshan says, rumours Ronaldo won't start. I mean, that would be... Kieran, no problems. I appreciate it, mate. I was just looking to see if there was any Manchester United leak or anything. That's why I happened to land on yours, because you're the sort of guy I thought might have legitimate information. I overestimated you, didn't I? I'd be surprised if Ronaldo doesn't start. I mean, if he doesn't, I'll laugh my head off. And by the way, just for the Sky players, if he's not starting, I might buy Lukaku today. That might be what I do if he's not starting. Which could not only cut out the Kane move, it might actually cut out my Aubameyang move as well. So, yeah, eyes on the prize. You got to be react quick in this game. And that was always the thought process with Lukaku, by the way, was, if Ronaldo doesn't start against Everton or if Salah doesn't start against Watford, potentially to move. The FPL Wire Fantasy Premier League. Which one of the Super Boys is it? What do you make of Chelsea's lack of chance creation for Lukaku, James? I think don't worry about it too much. I think so far they haven't played Southampton, Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley. Let's be real. The games that Lukaku's had so far, even if we include Champions League, so he's had Arsenal away, fine. Liverpool away, Villa at home. Villa played very well that day. Tottenham away, And Lukaku, to be honest, was well marshalled for 70 minutes, actually, by Eric Dyer. Then when Werner came on, Lukaku really caused some trouble. Game week 6, Manchester City. He's also played Zenit and Juventus in the Champions League. So this is why Lukaku was never, I must get straight away. Because how big did we expect him to go? What we haven't seen is bully boy Lukaku against some of these weaker teams. Excuse me. So I wouldn't worry about it. Wouldn't worry about it. This is where we can get too deep into stats. Is things like, let's look at last 4 fixtures. Okay, let's look at last 4 fixtures. Over the last 4 fixtures, Lukaku's played Liverpool, Tottenham away, and Manchester City. So it's not fair to be looking at that sort of statistical comparison, is it? And you guys will know me. I don't know which one of you is asking the question, but I'm more of a fixture head, aren't I? So I don't worry about that sort of thing. I look at it and go, them next 5. What I would say is, I don't expect Chelsea to win any of these games coming up like 5-6-0 or anything like that. I just don't think they're that sort of team. I think they're a solid 2-3-0 type of team. But a solid 2-3-0 team could be Lukaku getting those 2 or 3 goals with the way they are. Remember, look, last year, Jorginho, top goal scorer? It's a no-brainer to have him for me, really. Sam Holden said, at the cinema, can only choose one, popcorn or M&Ms. Popcorn. Jack Watson, Aubameyang thoughts this game and beyond. My thoughts are the deadline's gone. Not worth the money in FPL. You're very welcome, Oliver Render. FAH, are you worried about Connor Roberts coming back for Burnley at right back? I covered this either right at the start or a little bit later when I did cover it. I did cover it. I'm worried about it. I think it's a possibility, but then I'm not intending to start him up in this game. So if it happens, it happens. Worried, I'd sleep fine, mate. The problem is not how I sleep. The problem is me being able to get work done and get to bed. Martin King, do you play DT, and if so, what position? 732nd. No, I did want to because I believe that game's winnable, and I may come back for it next year. Atul Balaji, can you ignore if this is too long, but who do you think is the best player in each team? But just general footballer, it's not FPL. Best footballer in each team. All right, let's do that quick. Saka at Arsenal. Villa. I'm going to say Danny Ings. Brentford is Tony. Brighton, Bissouma. Burnley, McNeil. Chelsea, Lukaku's the easy answer, isn't it? Palace, Zaha. Everton, when Richarlison can be bothered. Leeds, Rafinha. Leicester, Tielemans. Liverpool, it's more difficult. I'm still going to say Van Dijk at the moment. Man City, Kevin De Bruyne. United, we'll have to say Ronaldo, won't we? Newcastle, St. Maximin. Norwich, Jesus. Billy Gilmore. Southampton, JWP. Tottenham is Kane. Watford, Sarr. West Ham, Antonio. Wolves, Jimenez. Rhinos Leeds, looking forward to the next Planet FPL meetup in the gym. Oh, love it. I'm sorry if that person was offended, but yeah. Esan says, which Prem team do you think was better, Arsenal Invincible or Chelsea 0405? I think the Chelsea 045, which will please you, I know, because you're a Chelsea fan. And it's not to undermine the Arsenal 04 team at all. Arsenal drew a number of games that season, and actually I'm pretty sure Chelsea got more points the following year, if I'm right. I might have that wrong, but I think the Chelsea 4-5 actually was just about as good as there's been. Connor Irvine, Sky question, if Pepe doesn't play, would a Pepe and Ronaldo to Diaz and Antonio be viable? Well, that's obviously Pepe. Would a Pepe and Ronaldo to Diaz and Antonio be viable? Yeah, that's viable for tomorrow. Yeah, but I wouldn't judge it on if Pepe plays or doesn't play. Just looking at it, do you want that player? What's happening, Connell, if you move the Arsenal player on, as in Pepe, what happens to the single game days then? What are you doing from there? So it might be, and look, what are you getting out of Pepe to Diaz immediately? And the next fixtures, those Monday night games, you might be better off just going Ronaldo to Antonio and sitting tight. You might be better off, possibly, but it depends what the rest of your makeup your squad is. Jonathan says, James, what country would you live in if you couldn't live in England or anywhere in the UK? I'm in Australia. Just so you know, their Chris game is poor out here. Choose wisely. I think I'll go Spain then. You got the weather, you got the bars. That'll do me. I'm nothing too fancy. You'd have access to all the football. You could probably get home reasonably quickly as well. So I'm going to say Spain. Joe Vinny Batter says, SkyQ was looking at when I can downgrade VVD to Cancelo, but doesn't seem like there's a hop off until City play Everton on the 22nd of November. Is that the best time to do the move? Let's get the Sky Planner up, mate. But I believe that, yeah, you're probably right. One of the things obviously discussed on Wednesday's pod was, and it's kind of is relevant to both players, was when am I actually going to captain them, i.e. VVD Diaz. So, I mean, yeah, that probably is it. The only other thing I could say to you is if something happens to VVD in the international break and he didn't start at Watford, obviously buy him on Saturday the 16th. But otherwise, no. That's it. Yeah, after Liverpool play Arsenal and then City play Everton on 21st November. That's the move. Want versus need, Joe. Want versus need. And that is a want versus need. Because, let's be honest, VVD could well outscore him, couldn't he? I lost my spreadsheet completely now. Can't work without that. CCCL, so that's one too many C's, I think, says... Now my spreadsheet's in my way. Non-FPL related, but which one Arsenal player would you take in your Spurs team at the moment? The most suitable player for Tottenham right now from the Arsenal squad, in all honesty, would be Smith Rowe. That's not to say he's a better player than Saka or anything like that. It's the sort of player we need. I'd even probably make a case for Odegaard actually over Saka. And I've just said I think Saka's Arsenal's best player. But those would be the two most suitable. Tommy Asu possibly instead of Emerson, which we could have done. And although Reguilon is not the worst player in the world, Kieran Tierney would definitely be a fucking upgrade at left back, which would make a difference. James, would love for Premier League players to follow Haaland and tweet out their availability pre-game would be a dream. Yeah, I heard about this, that he said he wasn't going to be available this weekend. Mamiya Toast. Hi James. Sky question of Salah, Lukaku, Ronaldo transferred to Antonio, Kane, tomorrow's to cover Sunday or hold Ronaldo. Covered this on Wednesday's pod, mate. And please listen to Wednesday's pod. If it's that important, please listen to Wednesday's pod. So I covered it in so much more detail than what I'm going to cover it for you now. So honestly, please have a listen to Wednesday's pod. DJ Newton, why you and Judge, I think it means Suj, don't drink from those lovely handmade mugs I presented you during the live podcast in Manchester? Because this is a Tottenham mug. But we do. They're in the office, mate. Andrew Sands. Haven't seen that new Spurs shirt for a while, James. Sun's out today. There you go. There you go, if you feel better. Sun's out today, if you catch my drift. He's gone shopping with his mum in Crawley. Terrific. Paul Spencer says Andy Mears wildcard with a minute to go because he got a message that Ronaldo isn't starting. I fucking love Andy. Get in Andy's stream if he's still going and tell him James said I'll see you for a beer next Saturday. If it's true, Sky Move is possibly on, guys. Hungry for more FPL. Good day from Australia. Gameweek 7 locked in. Love your accent. At least someone does. Esan, your best player from Chelsea isn't Kante. Do you know what? That's fair. Yeah, N'Golo Kante. You're right. I'm thinking on the spot. Anyway, yeah, Kante. Atul Balaji. Interesting how not one of them was a goalkeeper, James. to be honest, if the goalkeeper is your best player at your team, you've got some serious issues, haven't you? You wouldn't go to PSG and go, oh yeah, Donnarumma. You wouldn't go to Real Madrid and go, oh, Courtois. Like, you wouldn't, would you? So, Lewis Hawkins, morning, James. Cheers for the stream once again. All the best. Thank you, Yogish. Andy cheated his audience again. Last minute wildcard. And he can do whatever the fuck he likes, mate. And I don't blame him, the amount of people that want to copy his team. I'm lucky, because I'm shit at FPL. No one wants to copy my team. Sviriana, thoughts on my wildcard? No, I'm not doing FPL now, mate. And it's your wildcard, so no one else's thoughts matter. Thomas says, so many on Twitter have panic move Ronaldo to Lukaku. The toxicity is impending. Love it. KP338 is responding to someone. Stian says, lots of love, mate. Have an amazing day with the fam. Hope Spurs crush it. Thanks, mate. Yo, opinions on the rumours that Ronaldo is benched. Let's talk. You have to have done it. No, if he's benched, he's benched. I'm just thinking he's not in my team, so I don't give a fuck. I'm more thinking, right, am I going Ronaldo to Lukaku in Sky? The brain is ready to switch on and look at the plan, which means this stream is getting finished very soon. Hadi said, I captained Jimenez. Great. Dion, are you planning to sell Barnes after the international break? If so, for whom? I mean, yeah, but it's just never the biggest priority to get rid of him. Even I look at the fixture, obviously it's Palace this week, then United, then Brentford, then Arsenal, then Leeds. Okay, then there's Chelsea, then it's Watford, then it's Southampton, then it's Villa, then it's Newcastle. It's never actually that bad. So, yeah, look, the intention is to move him on, but he might stay. I think for him to go, I've got to be happy with Jota and Greenwood every week going forward. And I didn't actually really want to lose either of them this week. And it didn't really work for my plan to lose either because of the defensive interest. Ray Koreshi, morning, James. What were your moves, pal? Just joined. Lowton and Lukaku in for Trent and Ings. I tweeted that out earlier as well, my friend. Stian says, big man backer did the same panic wildcard on the Ronaldo news. Wow. Hadi Diallo, Jimenez captaincy, am I mad? You've done it, mate. Mark Nichols, hey man, good luck. Ludwig says, relatively new to Premier League and haven't got a team support. Any tips on how to decide? Thinking Leeds on pure entertainment value. Spurs, mate. Spurs. You know what? Supporting Spurs is really good for you. It's really good for your personal self. Like you suffer pain, but you learn to live with like letdowns and rejections and getting your hopes up and being let down. And every now and again they get really close. You get the excitement. Never win fuck all, but we get really close. So Spurs, great fun. I'd probably wait till we got a new manager though. KF16, hi mate. I know you ain't happy with how your lot are looking at the moment. In your opinion, what are your must improve areas and who would you get in? Must improve areas for the team. Right back. I think it's still a fucking problem. I'm not convinced on Emerson yet. Centre back, left back, holding midfield, central midfield, attacking midfield, right wing, centre forward to replace Kane next summer. The fucking lot, mate. This is what people don't get. That team is stale. It's bad. It's average. Take Kane and Son out of that team. Fucking hell. Abdul says, favourite FPL Twitter account to follow. I spend a lot less time on Twitter than what I used to. And the main reason for that is see so much nonsense. And so many kind of clickbait tweets and stuff. And I think, oh, piss off. Honestly. People sending tweets out with questions. And I mean big accounts. To just get the fucking engagement going and stuff. I can't be arsed with it. It's low end for me. And it's not digging out anyone in particular. I just see it a lot now. Best Twitter accounts to follow are Benny Blanco. Honestly, geezer's fucking hilarious and he's a lovely bloke. Any of our patrons. So to be honest, you could probably just look at the list of people that I'm following. I've got probably half the FPL Twitter community muted now. They don't know it, but they probably are. Andrew Sams, James, where and when will the 2001 World Club Championship most likely happen? Where will it happen most likely? Looks like it's going to be UAE or Qatar. When is probably the bigger question. Atul says, surprised to hear the panic wildcards. If Ronaldo is starting, is so important. I'd have just taken -4 Lukaku, I guess. Yeah, I agree with that as well. to be honest. If it's legit on Ronaldo, yeah, just -4 it. Ronaldo to Lukaku. Ritwick says, going to regret the Ward-Prowse and so on wildcard now, but just because of the talisman theory, stayed on the wildcard. Marcus P, great stream, James. Please don't ever stop swearing. I try not to. I'm trying to cut it down. So just keep saying we need to probably. I can't. I'd rather just be me. I'd like a swear word. At least I don't go over it. I just say fuck a lot. That's all on it. A-Man talks FPLSC. Could you ever see a World Cup in Australia? Curious after hearing your pod on the Biennial World Cup. Can I be honest with you? I'm surprised we haven't had one there yet. And yeah, I would expect that to happen inside the next 30 years or so. It's got to. The one thing they don't really want it there is because of the time zones, right? For the time zones. Oh, yeah, we might lose out on a lot of the European audience. And you fucking idiots. Just listen, take a World Cup to Australia. It'd be great. KF16, Sonny can head down the road to Arsenal if he likes, mate. You don't need him, mate. Michael Ward, thanks for the content, James Static. So you're saying, James, is that the Spurs team needs a wild card? The Spurs team needs a wild card. Yeah, you're not wrong. If you had 15 Spurs players, you'd definitely change around at least 10 or 11. So yeah, it needs a wild card. Ray Koreshi. Ray Kerr is a great Twitter account, I heard. See, Ray, I love you, mate. I hate that sort of fucking shit. It's just shit banter, mate. Thomas says, Ronaldo benched according to Football Intelligence Unit. Wow, he's benched. Thomas, love the swearing. Alex, man, did you and Suj know each other before Planet FPL? Yes, through work, but not for long. Cyrus Bernard, Ronaldo is benched. Football Intelligence Unit's tweeted it. I believe that's correct. And we'll leave you on that to decide your fate. Okay, cool. Content this week. It's the start of the new month, so if you want to support us on Patreon, we'd love to have you with us. Don't do it because you think you're going to become a better FPL manager. I answer all the questions on here. Do it because you want to support the content. It'll be over 20 additional podcasts from intermediate tier in October. Over 20 additional videos from myself on advanced tier as well. If you just want to buy us half a pint a month, join the Planet FPL community for £3 a month. Come and join the Slack community. And they will have the intelligence on shit. Next week's pods, game week review Monday, Tuesday will be People's Poll, Wednesday will be Sky, Thursday's Clash of Correspondence is Brentford versus Chelsea with FPL Dummy Tom and Rotation FPL, and the Thursday after will be Man City versus Burnley with FPL Pringle and Turfy Topper. Friday I will be streaming again around about 3 PM UK time. Our Patreon podcast next week will be Q&A Monday. On Tuesday we'll be doing the much requested podcast on Hearts, who are now the UK's the UK's biggest fan-owned football team. Wednesday will be Tottenham, which could be a mental breakdown again. Thursday will be a quiz, which I'll be doing, and Friday we'll do our differential show, which is normally a game week preview every Friday morning. But next week we may have a little look at some Gaffer, I think, possibly a little bit of Fantasy Scotland and some other bits and bobs as well, perhaps a little bit of longer term FPL thinking. I might even consider a guest for that podcast, but I have not had time to give it much thought yet. Anyway, that's all for now. For those of the questions I didn't get to, much apologies. I hope for all of you, your arrows are green for the weekend. Have a great time. Be nice to each other. Cue music, please, man child. Fuck, it's a stream. There's no music. Ciao.